The Edge at 11 starts now.
For most of us, today's storm system moved through our region without consequence, but a few communities are left cleaning up a great deal of damage tonight.
Yeah, Taryn, you're talking about Ferndale, one of the hardest hit areas, and also, by the way, Washington Township hit hard as well. Fox 2's Lauren Edwards joins us live with a closer look at the damage, and Lauren, a rude awakening for so many people.
Oh, absolutely. Those are the perfect two words to use, a rude awakening for many here in Ferndale. I'm still on Burdette, right off of 9 Mile, and there are so many people here who were impacted by those storms. Consumers' Energy is still out here. We actually saw within the last hour DTE roll in, stop through, and they left within the last 10 minutes. They're now down the block over on Paxton Street, but many people I spoke with said, you know, they were without gas, they were without power, and that's not the only things they were without this afternoon.
The roof off the top. I never seen nothing like it.
Thunderstorms in Metro Detroit caused extensive damage Wednesday afternoon in Ferndale. The roof of this apartment building on 9 Mile in Paxton now hanging on its side.
And as I got up, I went upstairs to the 5th floor, and you know, and the lady was coming out of the apartment, and the ceiling just started falling on her head.
Resident Cynthia Watkins says she was able to get them both outside safely.
I didn't know what had happened. I thought the building blew up.
All the rain was going sideways and was coming from the east direction going heading west. And that we have all this damage in the north-south direction here on Paxton Street.
This was the scene 1 block away from that apartment building on Paxton and Saratoga. Large trees knocked down, covering the street. Ferndale DPW chopped them up to get rid of them. Resident John DeQuilla said the winds were howling.
And it happens every year. Lately, every year, we're losing more of these big old trees to some ferocious windstorms.
Fox 2 tracked the storm all afternoon and evening. This was the scene in Wayne County. Water covering the streets, low visibility for drivers. Much of the same in Macomb County. And over in Oakland County, downed power lines. Rob Turbo of Washington Township says his yard was a disaster. Pieces of the carport was everywhere.
Police and fire was already here, and there is an apartment complex behind our house, and their carport is in the backyard. The power lines are down. Landscaping, all the yard stuff is all over the place.
Kifa Kashat felt the intensity of the storm as well.
And all of a sudden, I guess the tornado hit and blew the roof right off the place. And my son told me, he said, "Dad, don't even come here." It took the whole roof right off.
He says water was pouring inside his auto shop on 9 Mile. He's just grateful his staff got out safely. Have you seen anything like this before?
No.
So again, DTE is out here working. So is consumers behind me, working to restore gas and power to those who lost it. Reporting live here in Ferndale, I'm Lauren Edwards on The Edge.
You know, you take a look at some of those pictures, the trees, these huge trees coming down on buildings and apartments, and then the carport going through the other house. It is really something to feel fortunate about that we didn't have any serious injuries here, because it could have been so much worse.
Absolutely. It could have been 100% worse. Fortunately, no injuries, but I can tell you those trees were rather large. I'm 5'3" in height, and that is how large the roots and the bottom of that tree was, and it covered the entire street. So it took them several hours to chop it up and to move it, and so far it is moved, but the damage, again, extensive. That's the only word that is appropriate to describe it. It is extensive and widespread.
You know, the only good thing about having good weather for the next few days for those folks, they'll have plenty of time to clean up and do so in the next few days here. Lauren Edwards for us live tonight. Thank you.
Some of the branches, it pierced a hole through her roof, the roof of the car, and right behind the seat where she would have been sitting at.
Well, Detroit's west side was also hit. This tree came down on Asbury Park, destroying a young woman's car. Thank goodness she wasn't inside at the time. As you can see, the branch impaled the roof. We're told the young lady had just left the vehicle when that tree came crashing down.
And just to see it right behind my tree branch, the tree branch pierced through my car where I usually be sitting at, because I like to sit in my car sometimes just to relax. And she would have had her seat all the way back, so that would have been really bad.
The city of Detroit told the family that they will help remove the tree from her car.
All right, good news here. The storm obviously has come and it's gone, and now we have some quieter weather ahead.
Well, let's hope. Captain Rich Luderman had a very busy day today, and things calming down.
Yeah, a lot of watches and warnings this afternoon. You can see that line did begin over at Lake Michigan late this morning, and now it's all the way into Pennsylvania and West Virginia. We're going to show you that one more time. There it is, and then there it is rolling through southeast Michigan, packing a punch for sure. Some wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour with that line, but thankfully it's all history. Washington Township, Ferndale appears to get the worst of it. Heavy downpours and small hail for a lot of us, but this is just the first, which will be a series of storms over the next couple of months. It's springtime here. Look at this up at the Mackinac Bridge. They're dealing with rain and wet snow and 40 degrees. Just a couple of sprinkles on radar around here. So between now and 2 in the morning, a couple of sprinkles are possible. You know, before the storms arrived, we had 76 degrees. It was pretty nice out there before all the active weather showed up. 52 the low. There were the records, 85 and 10. A half an inch of rain at Metro Airport, so no major flooding concerns. But temperatures here are all going to fall off for the rest of tonight. Eventually, we're going to get down to 50 degrees on average. There is a breeze out there from the west. 48 in Green Bay, 43 in Newberry, still 59 down in Columbus. That's where we are, but watch as low pressure weakens and pulls away from the area. Tomorrow night, there'll be another front that crosses the area. We are not expecting storms, certainly nothing severe tomorrow night with our next front, and then in behind it, it's going to get cooler for the weekend ahead. You'll see that in the 7-day. For the rest of tonight, perhaps 1 or 2 stray sprinkles, 50 degrees on average. That's the overnight low. Back to 67 tomorrow. Not a bad Thursday at all. Very pleasant. Remember, the Tigers play at 1 o'clock, and then right there's that 7-day, 55 Saturday, 57 Sunday. Warm up just a bit for Monday. Rupen Taryn, another check at 4 a.m.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rich. Well, as hundreds of thousands of football fans get ready to head to Detroit next week for the NFL draft, Mayor Mike Duggan says they will see the rebirth of the Motor City.
So the mayor today gave his annual State of the City address tonight, revealing some of the positive developments in the city. Fox News' Dave Kinchin with the recap.
300,000 visitors, 50 million people watching on TV. We got a chance to introduce ourselves again to America. And when we do, we hope to be just like the Lions and introduce America to a very different Detroit.
Scores of people coming to the NFL draft this month will see a city reborn, according to Mayor Mike Duggan, who delivered his 11th State of the City address Wednesday night. He talked about how the city is building up with more jobs.
On the east side, they're going to see a new Jeep plant employing thousands of Detroiters that wasn't here the last time they were here.
More office space going up as well.
On West Grand Boulevard, they'll find the new Henry Ford Cancer Institute, which was just a start to the new $3 billion hospital development, one of the finest that's going to be in the Midwest. This is what they'll find. The Hudson's property, abandoned for 40 years, now home to the second tallest building in Michigan. And when it's finished next year, it's going to become the new GM World Headquarters.
Duggan also talked about building down, as in lowering violence across the board in Detroit neighborhoods, crediting several community groups for doing their parts on the streets.
How are we doing through the first, basically third of this year, through April 16th? Homicides are down another 27% below last year's level. Shootings are so far down another 23% from last year. And carjackings are down another 45% from last year.
We asked Detroiters how they felt about what they heard.
I think the comeback for the mayor is exhilarating. And to sit back and reflect on what was and what is, and more importantly, what will be, was fabulous.
And you can't say it's just happening downtown, because we see it in the neighborhoods, and we are very pleased. And I'm very pleased to see all the houses being torn down, other houses being restored. There's just so many good things, parks.
Of course, not everyone was satisfied with the mayor's remarks. We're hearing from the group Detroit Action for a New Economy. They sent out a statement. Here is that statement from their political director. It says, although Mayor Duggan boasts about increasing home values, genuine progress is gauged by the overall well-being of all residents, not just the property values and profits of those who are already wealthy, especially considering Detroit's shift from a city of homeowners to a city of renters. Lingering social issues such as DTE, utility hikes, flooding, population decline, and housing instability underscore the continued necessity for inclusive growth initiatives. On Detroit's west side, Dave Kinchin on the Edge.
Man, it was crazy. The car hit the police officer's car that was sitting right in front of us.
A wild day on the Avenue of Fashion. A driver claims to have fallen asleep while driving down Livernois in northwest Detroit today, causing the crash with a DPD squad car. An officer had just parked and was still seated in the driver's seat side. We're told he was taken to the hospital and his condition is listed as stable. The driver was also taken to the hospital. Right now, that person is in temporary serious condition. An 11-year-old girl tells police she was groped by a stranger at the Home Depot in Warren.
As police investigated this case, they realized there could be more victims. 22-year-old Elijah Lawrence was arrested for the alleged sexual assault. We're told that on Sunday, the victim was in the bathroom with her sister when they noticed there was a man in there with them. As they tried to get away from him, that's when the 11-year-old says that he touched her inappropriately. Home Depot staff tried, but unsuccessfully, to stop him. Police arrested Lawrence at his house the next day. Lawrence is currently considered a suspect in a peeping Tom case out of East Point. Police are hoping other victims will now come forward.
Take you out to Oak Park now. Jewelry store busted for selling stolen merchandise. Morrow Jewelers on Greenfield is accused of buying stolen jewelry that came from at least 30 smash and grab robberies in Metro Detroit and from across the country. During a search, the feds seized nearly $149,000 in stolen jewelry and some cash. At least 2 men have pleaded guilty to robbery.
A Kroger employee in Westland now in custody for threatening to kill his co-workers and customers. According to the Wayne County prosecutor, 37-year-old Jonathan Stiber of Garden City threatened to shoot people in the store off of Middle Belt. A co-worker alerted police. Stiber now facing 1 charge of threat of terrorism.